Hello everybody and welcome to the next race review for the 2024 British Touring Car season. With me is my good friend Ben. Say hello.
Hello.
Now Ben was missing on the last race review. As we said, he had a few technical gremlins, but they're all fixed now, so he's back. And this is our, I think it's the 7th round now. Is this one? Knockhill? I believe it is. Second after.
So, yeah.
Is it third? Second or third, hang on. I think now. 7th or 8th, something around there. I think it's the 7th.
I think
yeah,
7th.
It's 19 to 21, so it's 7th.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's our one and only trip north of the border to Scotland, as Tiffany Dell used to say, or I think even Murray Walker used to say it as well.
Yeah, I think quite a few of them have said that.
Over the years.
Yeah.
But Knockhill did not disappoint. It had a lot of action. We'll be covering that as much as possible. Just a real quick one before we forget. If you do like what you're listening to, be sure to subscribe to the channel. And obviously, if you check the descriptions, we do have the playlist for the rest of the season, as well as obviously any upcoming future episodes. Race reviews will also be in there as well. And we're going to kind of move straight into it. So to go into qualifying, we saw Group 1 eliminations. Saw the eliminations of Rob Huff, Aidan Moffat, Sam Osborne and Scott Sumpton. Group 2 saw eliminations of Tom Ingram, which was a big shock. Ronan Pearson, Chris Smiley and Nick Halstead. In Q2, we saw the big shock eliminations of, as if Ingram wasn't enough, we saw Hill and Sutton get knocked out, as well as Camish, Chilton, Doble and De Leon. And then when the Fast 6 got underway, it was Colin Turkington who came out on top, with Aaron Taylor-Smith, surprisingly, joining him on the front row to make it an Irish 1-2. With Adam Morgan rounding out the top 3. Turkington getting a 50.862 as his pole. Taylor-Smith 35 thousandths of a second behind, and Morgan a little over a tenth behind. So there wasn't a lot in it in terms of qualifying. But moving into race 1, it was a great start by the top 3 who stayed where they were. However, on lap 2, that was the lap of action as Camish and Watson went into battle for position. However, further back, Ash Sutton made several places and was up to 8th by the time lap 3 ended. Camish put a great move on Watson, however he went wide and allowed Watson and Sutton to slip by relatively quickly. There was plenty of battles also going on up and down the grid as De Leon went into battle with Aidan Moffat and Sam Osborne, and was soon having to defend for his life as Moffat really piled on the pressure as the laps went by. On lap 7, whilst Moffat was occupied, he left the door open for Osborne to slip by. Then Ingram made a huge mistake as he tried to attack Moffat and came off worse, having to drop back due to damage sustained, and it looked like bodywork was rubbing against the wheel. Lap 9 saw Rob Huff and Dan Camish go into battle. Despite everything that Camish had, he just couldn't stop Huff from putting a great switchback move on him for 9th place. Up ahead though, Sutton and Watson went into battle, but Watson managed to stay ahead in that particular battle. Lap 11 saw Ingram pit with damage, however things took a dramatic turn in the race for Watson as he went flying off the road due to running wide, which sent him flying off at speed, and as such dropped down to 11th place, but more crucially promoted Sutton up to 7th place. Now it is worth noting, unlike at Croft where there was the incident between Turkington and Sutton, this one was a case of Watson literally ran wide. It did seem as though Sutton had tagged him, but on replay it was just Watson ran wide and went flying off the other side of the track, and that was the end of that really. So there was no danger for Sutton in that regard. Lap 14 saw Hill put a move on Rowbottom to move him into the lead of the medium class runners. 2 laps later we saw Osborne get ahead of Chilton going down the hill after turn 1. Lap 18 saw a great set of moves happen in the space of a few seconds as Morgan got alongside Aaron Taylor-Smith, and somehow Josh Cook managed to sneak between the two up into 3rd place. Cook, however, had bigger plans as he went ahead of Morgan, going on to lap 22. Sutton then pulled a similar move on Rowbottom to himself up into 6th place, coming on to the final lap. However, up at the front, it was classic Turkington who dominated this race from start to finish, with Cook and Morgan rounding out the podium. So your race 1 results are as follows. Colin Turkington is your race winner along with the fastest lap. Josh Cook was 2nd with Adam Morgan in 3rd. Then we had Aaron Taylor-Smith in 4th, Jake Hill 5th, Sutton 6th, Rowbottom 7th, Huff 8th, Camish 9th and Mikey Doble to round out the top 10. Over to you for race 2, Ben.
Yeah, so race 2 was quite a nice, interesting race. Ingram's obviously at the back, so it was interesting to sort of see, from my perspective, like what was going to happen with him throughout the race. I imagine you're going to get quite a lot of action from him moving up. So, at the start, we had a really good getaway from Turkington. Doble was stuck on the grid, and I think his door was open, sort of like waving for help or something, but he managed to get it going. It was around about half a lap after everyone else. At this point in the race, already by lap 1, Ingram's already up by 4 places. Lap 2, Rowbottom gets a penalty for a false start. It's announced, I think it's 5 seconds. And then lap 3, Sumpton also gets the same penalty. Meanwhile, Hill is now up to second and looks to be charging through on the Knockhill track with all the BMWs. Seem to be doing quite well at this point. Lap 5, Ingram is up to 14th. He's in the points. Hill's now caught up to Turkington by the end of the lap, and he gets through by the start of lap 6. It looked like sort of Turkington realised he's not really in the championship this year. He sort of like didn't really contest it, and sort of like, yeah, we're all on the same team here. I'll just let him sort of, if he can get past me, I'll allow him. By lap 8, Rowbottom now gets past Turkington. It seemed like the soft tyre was coming to play now compared to the medium. He got him on the inside going to turn 1. It's nice, easy overtake, really. Lap 9, Osborne now, his car is very, very drifty. Especially around the first corner. You can see he kept it together and held his place, but his car is sideways. Lap 10, De Leon goes wide and takes Osborne out. Osborne's still in the race, but yeah, he's sort of like, it wasn't the smartest move. It seemed like he just tried to go past him with a late braking manoeuvre and didn't really plan it at all. Lap 11, Ingram is in 13th place. At this point, he's now finally moved up to like round the points and everything. Lap 17, Watson taps De Leon. This causes him to go into the gravel. When he gets back on the track, his tyre's dirty, and once he goes over the chicane, you can see this as he just spins off the track. He manages to control it and gets back on, but now he's at the back of the race. Lap 21, Osborne's car is sliding a lot. He hits one of the curbs on track, I think it was around the first corner, and his car's just hardcore on 2 wheels. Like, it is going for it. There's something definitely not right with the car, you can see at this point. On the last lap, Ingram gets a nice good pass and gets to 10th as Jake Hill wins. So, your race winner is Jake Hill. Second is Rowbottom with the fastest lap. He kept his place because I think he's around 6 seconds past Turkington. Third was Turkington. Fourth was Cook. Fifth was Sutton. Sixth was Morgan. Seventh was Camish. Eighth was Moffat. Ninth was Chilton. And 10th was Ingram. Over to you for race 3, Brad.
No worries, thanks very much, Ben. So, with Hill being the winner, it meant he had to pick the number for the final race, and it was Rob Huff who he picked to be on pole. Much to the delight of Aaron Taylor-Smith, who was up into second place on the grid, as we saw in the post-race interview as well, when Jake picked the number. Aaron Taylor-Smith was the first to congratulate him, say thanks for putting me second, which I thought was quite funny. But that's just typical banter between the drivers, which is always nice to see. Anyway, so with Rob Huff being on pole and with Aaron Taylor-Smith being second, we also, like I said, we saw Ingram being third, and it was a case of, oh, what can Ingram do? Because he's now at the front, he's not at the back, he doesn't have to worry about having 50 million cars in front of him that he has to get past. So maybe, just maybe, luck could go in his favour. Anyway, straight from the off, the top 3 got a great start. However, Huff really started to pull a gap straight from the off. Further back, we saw Sutton jump up to 6th place ahead of Morgan and Camish. Ingram managed to get past Aaron Taylor-Smith for second and started to hunt down Huff for the lead. Lap 5 saw Ingram attack Huff for the lead. However, that came to nothing. But further back, we saw a 3-way scrap for position as Sutton, Moffat and Morgan all fought for position. And it came out with them being... They kept swapping places a fair bit. There wasn't too much going on, but they continued to scrap for quite a while. Ingram continued to attack Huff as Chilton managed to get past Aaron Taylor-Smith for third. There was drama further back as Camish was forced off the road on lap 7 and as such dropped down the order to 16th place. Lap 11 though saw it all kick off as Aaron Taylor-Smith with Moffat and Sutton going past. Then Cook got punted by Sutton at the hairpin, and then it got even more eventful as Cook got forced off wide by Morgan, and when he rejoined, he was hit by Hill and spun him round, smashed through the chicane, which in turn forced everyone else off the circuit, and more crucially, put Josh out of the race. All of this caused the safety car to come out, and when it went in, there was already drama as Morgan had to pull over due to loss of power. However, Huff managed to pull a gap, which was really good to see from him. Lap 18 saw Hill move past Moffat. Moffat's day got worse from there as Rowbottom got past him as well within a lap. A few laps later on lap 24, we saw Camish and Turkington try to get past Moffat, and Camish managed to get ahead of the BMW. However, up at the front, it was a three-way fight for second between Ingram, Chilton and Sutton, with Hill watching on but closing in just in case anything happens. However, no one could stop Rob Huff from winning his second race of the season, with Ingram and Chilton to round out the podium. So your race 3 results. Rob Huff was your race winner for the second time this season, with Tom Ingram in second, who also scored the fastest lap, Tom Chilton in third, Ash Sutton fourth, Jake Hill in fifth, Rowbottom sixth, Moffat seventh, Camish eighth, Turkington ninth, and Ronan Pearson rounds out the top 10. So what does it do to the driver standings? Well, Ingram's lead is down to a mere 3 points ahead of Jake Hill. Sutton is now closing in. He's only 20 points behind them, the pair of them, with him closing in a little bit on Jake Hill after this weekend. Dan Camish seems not far away from the fight, as does Colin Turkington and Josh Cook, so it could potentially be a 6-way battle for the lead if the points go in Cook's favour or even Turkington's favour like they have been as of late. Rob Huff is now up to 7th in the championship on 162, ahead of Rowbottom, Chilton, and now Aaron Taylor-Smith to round out the top 10. So overall, Ben, who do you think who were your winners from this weekend?
I quite like what Aaron Taylor-Smith did in qualifying. That was quite good to see. You know, it's nice to see the car that is a bit past its time on the grid, on occasion doing interesting little things, and it's great to see the team can still get that car to do reasonably good stuff. Rob Huff, obviously a big Rob Huff fan, you know, said enough on him how much I love what he does. You know, like, it's just great to see him get another win. And then I would say Osborne, how he kept that car on the track in race 2, because that car looked like it should be a front-wheel drive car, but it looked like it was rear and ready to do some sort of drift competition, how much it was just going. So, yeah, it was quite good to just sort of see that, really. They would be my big ones from the weekend.
I think for me, it'd probably be Turkington and De Leon, and I would say Sutton to an extent, but I'll get to him in a minute. So for me, Turkington has took a step in the right direction post some break, and I think that BMW is looking a lot more feisty, and definitely a car that can win the championship this year. I mean, obviously Hill's second in the championship, he's only 3 points behind Ingram. That's kind of enough proof as it is, but with more wins for Turkington, bear in mind, just remember one thing, is that Sutton's only won one race this season. That's it. If he wins the title this year, it will be amazing to see. Turkington, on the other hand, has won, I think, 4 at this point, and Hill's not far off. Ingram's got a few wins as well under his belt. Huff's up to 2. He's got more wins than Sutton. Let that sink in. But yeah, in terms of like Turkington's pace this year, he's gotten a lot better as the season's gone on. I don't know what the hell we're going to get from him at Donington, Silverstone and Brands, but you never know. This championship ain't over till the final lap is driven and the final flag is has flown. But definitely worth keeping an eye out for Turkington. But he's done, again, proved that he can keep it with the big guys. 3 top 10 finishes, 2 really good races in the first 2 races. Obviously, race 3 finished 9th, but it was a lot better than his performance at Croft. So glad to see him get some good points back from that. De Leon, mainly because of the fact that, yeah, okay, he's not in a front-running car, but he's proven this weekend, to me at least, that he can really drive. Like, obviously, granted, this might be a bit of a one-off, but he has really got his teeth stuck in. And yeah, okay, he might have spun off on one of the races, but for me, he's not done too bad. And he out-qualified Sutton in qualifying. Now, yeah, call it whatever you will about Sutton's car or whatever, but I still think that's that's still a feat not to be sniffed at. You know, like, he actually did it, I believe, on pace, genuinely. which was really great to see. I mean, normally he gets knocked out in the first group elimination, so to see him not get knocked out is a bit of an advancement. I'm not saying like, oh, he'll be in the Fast 6 next, because we don't know. But he's managed to drag that Cooper into a place it shouldn't belong, which is nice. It reminds me a lot of what Bobby Thompson used to do, funnily enough. And finally, like I said, as I mentioned with Sutton, Sutton's not won any races bar the one he won earlier in the season, but he's still scoring points very consistently, still right up there. Granted, he didn't get any podiums this weekend, but the fact he's still only 20 points away from Ingram. I mean, granted, Ingram had a torrid time in the first 2 races, I'll say. More in the first race than the second one. But the fact that he's still in the title fight at all has proven just how good this championship has actually been this year. Granted, he's took bad luck for other drivers. It's took bad luck. Ash has had bad luck. Ingram's had bad luck. Hill definitely had it at the start of the year. Turkington as well at Croft. You know, it's like those drivers have all had bad luck. And the fact that they're all in the title fight, they're still fighting for the championship, has also helped in that regard as well. So it's made the championship quite fun. Would you agree, Ben, to an extent?
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be an interesting one, isn't it? Like, I always say this, and I always believe that Knockhill is the one where, like, you sort of can see now where you should be heading to towards the finale at this point, and like who your main guys are. But yeah, like you say, it's interesting. Like Sutton's proved you just have to be consistent this year, because like you say, Rob Huff has more wins than him, but a lot less points. So it could be interesting to see what could happen this year.
You just never know what might happen. I mean, we're going to Donington next. Now that's not seen as a strong track for the Fords. However, last year it was strong. But one thing that's proven this year, I think BTCC proves this every year, is that if there's one thing that you can't rely on, it's the form book. If one car was good at a track last year, it doesn't mean it'll be good the following year. For example, Knockhill has been dominated by front-wheel drive cars the last 2 or 3 years. So the fact that BMW's come back with a vengeance, but apparently it used to be a rear-wheel drive dominant track, it's kind of proven that, yeah, you know that form that front-wheel drive had? Yeah, we're just going to rip that up. And there you go. So the Fords might have been strong at Donington last year. The Hyundais were pretty strong. BMW might be able to pounce on the chance. We might see another Hill or Turkington win. It wouldn't surprise me. But then again, we don't know about the other teams. We saw Moffat win earlier in the season at Donington. So it's like, you know, you just don't know what you're going to get with the GP circuit, especially. So, yeah, but that's going to be in about a fortnight's time. Hopefully, like I said, the championship fight looks like it's going to go down all the way to the wire in my view. And if anything, I'm all for it. I'm looking forward to seeing what Donington can provide. But on that note, we're going to wrap this video up here. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Let us know in the comments what you thought of the race at Knockhill. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Just going to give a small little shout out to Legends Championship for putting on a great show once again, as per usual. I didn't really mention them in this. I don't mention many side series, but the Legends are fantastic. If you've never seen them, go and watch them. They're great fun to watch. They're just great.
Speaking of side series, the Toka Juniors car's just been announced, and that looks quite interesting.
There you go. There's something.
Looks like an old 90s hatchback. So that should be something interesting and hopefully soon supporting the series.
Yeah, something to have a look into for the near future as well. But on that note, like I said, we're going to wrap this video up here. Thank you very much for watching and your continued support as always, and we will see you in the next video at Donington Park. So until then, thanks for watching, and of course, as always, ta-ra.
Bye.